Hello everyone, in this video we're going to do more examples of multiplying two polynomials together with more than two terms. What I'm going to do for this video specifically is I'm going to show you two different examples and we'll use two different approaches for those examples. So let's take a look at this one first. We will solve this by the techniques we have used in previous videos where we distribute every term in the first polynomial to every term in the second polynomial. Either technique you use will give you the same answer, and you'll see that second technique when we go to the second example in just a few moments. Repeated distribution is all we're doing here. So m squared times 4m cubed m squared times negative 2m squared m squared times 4m. What I'm going to do is if I see that I have any like terms, I will actually align them vertically. So that way they're a little bit more noticeable and we can combine them as need be. So 5 times 4m cubed, that gives me 20m cubed. Here I have my first set of like terms. Let's keep going. 5 times negative 2m squared. And then 5 times 4m. This is my only set of like terms. So now all we do is keep these two as such. And then combine these two together, which gives me 24 m to the power of 3. And then these last two terms remain untouched as well. All right, this is the final answer. That's a big polynomial. That's 5 terms together. Now the second technique that we will use for this example in a way is slightly easier, and here's what we're going to do. We're going to distribute this polynomial and this polynomial. We're going to multiply them together. But what we're going to do is we're going to think of x minus 4 as a single quantity and then use the distributive property as follows. X squared times x minus 4 plus 3x times x minus 4 plus 5 times x minus 4. So again, think of x minus 4 as a single quantity, and then what it looks like is distribution of a monomial to a binomial. Let's keep going. X squared times x and then x squared times negative 4. This polynomial is done. Now I have 3x times x and then 3x times negative 4. I'll do the same thing I did in the last one where I'll align any like terms that I see vertically. So 3x times x gives me 3x squared, and that's positive. 3x times negative 4, this one's done. On to the last one. 5 times x, 5 times negative 4. And now to put it all together. I don't have any other x cubed terms, so we'll just write it as such. -4 plus 3 is still negative. -12 plus 5, that too is also negative. -20. This is our final answer. Either technique used, whether you decide to treat one of these polynomials as a single quantity and distributing it to every term in the second polynomial and then combining like terms as such, that technique does work. You can, if you're more comfortable with this approach, let me pull this up here. If you are more comfortable with this approach, by all means, either one will give you the same answer. And that is the foundations of multiplying polynomials together. There are other such cases for multiplying polynomials, such as different techniques, such as the FOIL technique, which we'll look at in algebra. And then there are these things called special products, which we'll look at much later too. But this is your foundation for multiplying polynomials in pre-algebra to start. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later.